the Motorsport Show, and welcome everyone, live from Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast. How good is this? I'm Gerald McDornan, I'm your host, and where is Phil? Like last time on Sunday where we had a deal where I was 46 seconds late, Phil is 46 seconds late. Where is he? There he is. Philip. What the hell is going on?
We're on the Gold Coast, man.
How good is this? How good? Well, Philip. For some reason, Philip, how are you? Hey?
You're going to get dressed up.
Oh, well, I have. I got the hat on,
Really?
the sun cream. I got my brand new T-shirt.
Hi, folks.
Debris. We don't know where it is.
It's there. No.
Aren't you
Really?
going to ask me?
Where did you get that?
I don't know.
You don't know where you got it.
Who knows where it came from?
I just,
Debris. But look online. It might be available tomorrow.
are we going to
for
make
about-
those T-shirts? Are you going to make those T-shirts?
I possibly could.
Yeah.
I've registered the design already.
Right.
Debris.
Yeah.
We don't know where it is.
Oh, God. We don't know where we're getting them from. I know where I got my clothes from. Hawaiian shirt.
You
Bermuda shorts.
look very Don Johnson there, Philip.
And a Panama hat. Where are Panama hats made?
Cuba?
Uruguay, not Panama.
Oh, why?
I don't know. This is all a mystery. You look like you just crawled out of a skip. You look like Jethro Bodine after a big night out.
Well, I could have had a couple.
You could have had a couple.
Just ask me what the Gold Coast was like.
What's the Gold Coast like?
I don't know. I didn't go.
Ask me what the Gold Coast
What
was
was
like.
the Gold Coast like?
3 years ago, it was great, but I was at Phillip Island for the MotoGP.
So you're at the beach.
There's not a lot of bitching going on.
Welcome, everyone.
There's a lot of bitching going on about the weather.
Well, there's a lot of bitching going on about a lot of things, actually. I don't know why I can't really hear myself at the moment. Let me test that. That's better.
I'd like to thank my backing band, by the way. Wow.
Hopefully, Robbie, I'm not too hot in there, am I, on the audio?
You're not too hot here in that damn shirt either.
What,
Ladies, stay calm, all right?
What do you reckon about the
Some men.
Debris?
I liked her when she was on Everybody Loves Raymond. I've always said that.
Where's Debris from?
Phillip Island? Uruguay, where they make the hats.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, what a big show we got.
Have we?
We have got, mate, we have got a frigging huge show.
We've got the biggest ever.
This is where you actually get to hear what really goes on. We don't.
No, we don't want that.
We don't.
We don't want that.
Kowtow. We say it as we think it is. I'm hot. Robbie's saying I'm hot on number one, so I've pulled that down. I've probably put Phil up a little bit. I just can't hear myself, so I've got to
audio.
keep turning my volume
Is
up.
there anybody out there who knows anything about audio?
Yeah,
Audio.
good. I want to get Debris, says David Schulderman. Bruce Donald. The T-shirt, ha, ha, ha. Yes, thank you. And ha, 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 wham.
Who's that?
David Schulderman.
I do like a bit of Wham. My wife is a huge
That's
Wham
a Dutch
fan.
name, isn't it?
What's that? Wham?
Schulderman.
Oh, yeah, it is, man.
Because, David, there's only two things I can't stand.
What's that?
People that are intolerant of other people and the Dutch.
And the Dutch.
To use a line out of Goldmember.
Austin Powers.
Huge show. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. And we have got a Ripper show lined up after what was a couple of Ripper shows 2 weeks ago
Yes.
and then a week and a half ago.
So is tonight Wednesday or Sunday?
Tonight's Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
And we have to thank everyone for tuning in. Those shows, viewer-wise for us, we topped over 105,000 views.
Yep.
Robbie? Now, I'm hot, am I? We're both hot. So we're just trying to sort some audio out here. That's cool.
Sorry. So
Yeah, huge shows.
When someone says I'm hot, that's what I do.
We had a huge show, more than 105,000 views.
So
Philip.
thank you, folks.
Now, not everyone agreed with what we said.
Good.
That's not a problem. They're our opinions. We'll go through the Bathurst stuff later. Big news, lots of news happening at the moment. Here's a quick one, Phil. TCR and the S5000s have released a 7-event calendar.
Yes, they have. 6 rounds in the championship.
Yeah, and a non-championship race.
Whereabouts?
For TCR is at the Grand Prix, and for S5000 at Bathurst in December. The great thing for TCR to announce 7 dates is that it means they've got 7 silly seasons coming up.
Now, cynical man. We judge everybody by their first show, do we? Rude man.
It's been every show.
Let's wait and see what happens.
It's been every show.
Some of the racing's been good so far. There has been a lot of drivers in and out, and there's been a few French drivers, internationals. Cheers.
Hello, what was his name? JK. I believe he's
JK
coming
Rowling.
back. Did we hear a rumour he's coming back for a race?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's good.
There was a suggestion that was going to happen.
Well, let's.
Where's the next round? The bend.
David Jones want a T-shirt. Can we buy one? Well, maybe.
Oh, his. Sorry, yeah.
My parents love you too. Go Holden, Brittany and Margaret Tuck.
Oh, Brittany?
Thanks.
Is it Brittany and Margaret, or is that one person?
Anyone else here watch the show Billions? Because the guy on the right...
You're right?
That's you.
Is that me?
Looks like David Constable. Well, sounds like what you...
Oh. Hang on, wait a second.
Constable?
I don't know. I don't watch the show for obvious reasons because Billions has got nothing to do with me.
Nev Hawkins said get some new hats. They're odd. They're odd. They THEY''RE. Nev, don't want to tell you. That Debris shirt is the best thing I've ever seen, says Jake Atta. Thank you, mate.
That's great, Jake, but you really need to get a hobby or a girlfriend.
Look on our Facebook page over the next couple of days. We'll probably make them available for everyone. Damien Where have you blokes been? Oh, we've been...
Where haven't we been? Well, he's been to Not Surfers and I've been to Phillip Island.
Hey, Nev Hawkins says, hey, why don't you give away some of those really cool T-shirts? I'm keen for a 3XL. Mate, you'll be able to buy one.
Yeah.
I've given enough away so far.
Yes. If you really want one.
You two guys, again, rip into it, boys, says the Spanner Man. Hello, Spanner Man.
Mr. Man.
Thanks for your company.
Is relation to John Man?
Gavin Spann, the Spanner Man.
Oh, it's Gavin Spann.
Now, the great thing about our show is that you can interact with us if you're watching on Facebook Live, which everyone must be. Get on. You can write some comments and questions for us. Let's get into the news. The big one, couple of big supercars news items. The first one, Richie Stanaway, Philip, was stood down on Sunday at the Gold Coast, and the kid was visibly upset.
He was, and it was for missing an autograph session, and there would be people out there, I'm sure, who would have the opinion that was a hanging offence for a relatively minor crime. But supercars, the layers of management in supercars, the regulations are such that supercars has agreement with the teams, and teams have agreement with the drivers about presentation of drivers for certain events, including races. But one of those things is actually autograph sessions.
Yep.
And Stanaway says he made an honest mistake, didn't realise that the time had changed between Saturday and Sunday, that it was a different time on either of those days. And you're right, he was visibly upset. But Gary Rogers didn't waste any time putting Dylan O'Keefe in the car, had a drive with Chris Pither. And you got a feel for Stanaway, but unfortunately it's another cross in the column. And people say, we're hard on Stanaway, but we'd like to see...
I'm not.
Well, we'd like to see some ticks on Stanaway's column because I believe he's capable of doing lots of ticks. There's a lot of headroom on his side of the ledger.
If you look at his career, he's won in GP2. He's won the German Formula 3 Championship, and I think won 16 of 18 races in a year. He's won the Toyota Series in New Zealand. The guy is absolutely... He's a factory driver for Aston Martin. He's actually a superstar. He's had crap cars. Well, no, let's not say crap cars. Cars that aren't front-running cars. And on the Gold Coast, even on Saturday, it wasn't... he got into the car and it was 3 laps down. It wasn't his fault. He hasn't had great cars. And, the bloke has... probably came into the category with not the right attitude, but, I think he was turning around. I think he was working pretty hard. And Shane Van Gisbergen came out and said that we need to support the bloke and let's hope that the sport doesn't give up on him and let's hope that he doesn't give up on the sport. Are we punishing Boost?
Are we punishing Boost?
Yeah.
Is that what we're being asked?
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not punishing Boost. There's been times in the past. I'm not a Boost customer at the moment. I have been in the past. Boost is a sponsor that spends a lot of money. What?
Phil's been...
Oh, don't. That's an in-joke between me.
No.
Me and Gerald and the telcos. But no, Boost is a sponsor that's been around the sport for a long time. Peter Addison has been around the sport for a long time. We both know him, and anyone who's prepared to put his money where his mouth is, we support. We're not kicking Boost. It's just that it's frustrating for the people in the sport because so many of us believe that Stanaway could be a top 6 driver. He could be a championship contender in the right car. I've got no doubt he's got that level of ability, but people would like to see him actually perform to that level, and it's frustrating. We've seen it. We have seen it on occasion. We saw it at the Sandown 500 2 years ago. We saw it at Bathurst 2 years ago. The guy's a star in waiting.
Comments coming through. Darren Edgerton said, must be something else going on between Richie and Gary and Thomas Jarrett. There's no way Stanaway got dumped for that. There must be more to it.
No, it's very important. Let me give you an example. A couple of years ago...
hang on. The PR person for Dylan O'Keefe, Lockie Mansell, said it's a shame the focus is surrounded the way Stanaway was benched because it was overshadowed a great effort by Dylan O'Keefe in jumping in. Lockie, what's the story, Lachlan? The story is Richie Stanaway was 20 or 30 minutes before the qualifying session dumped. That's the story. And Dylan O'Keefe, good effort, jumped in, qualified 24th. And so it's not a big story. I mean, he's done a remarkable effort to get in the car.
He has done a good job, but the story is Stanaway.
The story is Stanaway.
So Stanaway will presumably be back. And let's not forget, we haven't mentioned this, he's been injured this season. And neck injuries for racing drivers are terrible things. So, look, let's hope that he gets to be 100% fit, and let's hope that everything will be all right so far as the rest of his time at GRM is concerned.
Absolutely. Now, let's go on. The next one, we're actually going to roll some video very shortly, and we should say next week is Sandown.
It is.
The retro round.
So, are you going? Are you going to wear that shirt? Will they let you in with that shirt?
Well, Phil, you are retro.
My life is retro.
One of the best clips I think we've seen of any unveil has just popped online. Here's an edited version of Chaz Moffat's Chaz Michael Michaels and James Moffat's Super Cheap Auto car. Roll that video.
This is 55 years of history, of heritage, of reign. This is not a first step, but a fleeting gallop. No, this is not a beginning. It's a return.
Man and machine, separated by generations, fused together by speed.
What great-looking cars.
Great-looking cars.
Well,
and,
two of them are great-looking cars.
A terrific livery. Jake Adhard says, well, regarding Stanaway thing, Auto Action in their magazine today reported that there was more stuff which happened during the year which all built up to the benching. Richie denied that on the TV.
Yes, he did.
But that's an interesting one. Steve Grennan, one of our great supporters. Hey, Steve, thanks for joining in. Shout out to my mate Robbo. He reckons you blokes are a bunch of one-eyed flogs. His words, I bet he is watching. So, Steve, to your mate.
Hey, and listen, if you think I'm a one-eyed flogger, which side am I supporting? Go on. Tell me.
We all know.
Because I'd like to know.
Philip, we all know you're a four-eyed flog.
That's true. That is true. If I'm going to be a flogger, 4 eyes. Holden Ford, MotoGP F1. There you go.
There you go.
Well, can't please everybody.
Now, before we get into the chunky stuff.
What's that?
I wasn't at the Gold Coast
Where were you?
on Saturday.
You weren't at Phillip Island.
Well,
because you got the restraining order on Valentino Rossi.
I've got a caveat.
Have you?
A caveat.
Well, you all right? You know what
a caveat's been put on
I've got a
Motorsport.
rubber ring.
I was at Caveat in Victoria which is between Seymour and Yea for the last round of the DeWalt Tools SXS Australian Championship, the off-road buggies.
Yeah.
I copped the call up at about 6:30 on Friday evening to commentate for the last round, the series.
Yeah.
I know very little about the series. I know very little about the buggies. I know very little about the drivers in them. But what I do know after being there Saturday is what a great lot of fun it was. Let's go to the video tape, please, Robbie. And this is the final round, 6:35. Buggy is Jackson Evans. Went into the final, third in points. It was the fourth round. They've already been to Adelaide, Canberra and Ballarat. This is the fourth and final round. I was in that little white box there, Phil, with the little window trying to look out. I could see about 150 metres of track. There goes former Australian rally champion Simon Evans, the father of Jackson. He was fourth in the points. Great track at Mafeking Rover Park.
Yeah.
Which is Mafeking. It was where Lord Baden-Powell was in battle, apparently.
Yeah,
There's Jackson Evans. He came from third.
Jeez, he looks like his dad.
Yeah, he came from third to first, and it was a thriller. A guy called Tim Liston was second in points in a non-outright buggy. I thought he was staging a little bit during the day, but he actually had some electrical problems, got to the semi-final and couldn't complete it. He missed the final. Then James Shipp, who was leading the points, was in the final and 2 laps from home. Unfortunately, had mechanical dramas, did not finish. Jackson Evans took the win and an Australian championship. So, and goes with his dad and his uncle Eli.
Yeah.
Uncle Eli Evans, former Australian champion in off-road, and his dad Simon, of course, in the buggies and rallying.
And his mum.
And his mum.
Sue is an Australian title-winning navigator.
Of course. Sorry. Yes.
Hi, Sue. Simon and Sue, great people. Congratulations, Jackson. Well done.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
It's
I really
great
enjoyed it.
There was a move a couple of years ago to try and put side-by-sides in Australian Rally Championship. Didn't really work out, but that format looks really cool. That's where they should be, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen them for 1 minute, I'm an expert. I'm a one-eyed flogger when it comes to side-by-sides.
No, 4. Let's jump. We'll jump 5, Phil. We'll jump 5-2. But let's go to and now talking about championships and great Australian rising stars.
Yeah.
The final of the Formula Renault Euro Cup was held in Abu Dhabi on the weekend. 2 races.
It's like Euro.
I know, but you know what?
It's the outer suburbs.
Yeah, it is the outer suburbs. Stevie Edwards says, "Hello, boys, looking and sounding good." Thank you,
Thank you, Stevie. Stevie. Send me views on what do you think of this?
Darren Williams, no airs, just what should be done with supercars. Phil turned the air conditioning off before.
I know.
But the Formula Renault Euro Cup, which had been won in the past by Stoffel van Dorn, Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly, to name a few,
which you just did,
is one of the stepping stones to Formula One. And young Oscar Piastri went into the final round, 13.5s in the lead. Let's roll that video if we can, please, Rob. And here we go. 2 races on the weekend. This was the first one. Victor Martins in the yellow and black car on the left, and young Oscar, the Aussie, in the number 1 on the right, the white car. Qualified just 2 thousandths of a second off the pole, but took the lead at the start, and in the half-hour race stayed in front of Martins the whole way. Took the win and extended the championship lead to 20.5 points. Now, he needed to finish 7th, I should say, to claim the championships. Martins, again on pole. Now, Piastri, I was watching this live, Phil, on the YouTube, and I thought maybe he's taking it a little bit conservative. Nearly got collected there.
Wow.
Now, that was Matteo Nannini, Alessandro Nannini's son. Actually tapped the back of him.
Yeah.
But come the checkered flag, Martins took the win. Piastri 4th, champion.
Fantastic.
So the first Australian to win that championship in Formula Renault. A brilliant season for the young fella. 7 wins in the championship. 5 pole positions, 12 podium results.
Fantastic.
and the first Aussie. And he actually came in here yesterday, came into the office with the trophy. He's home for 2 days or 3 days.
And then where?
He's got to go back to school in England. The only reason he came home to Australia after Abu Dhabi was because he's on school holidays this week.
Wow.
So he's actually doing his A-levels, which is like VCE or HSC, and he actually has to go back to the UK. So he's going back on Saturday, and we've got a couple of media things for him. So,
good. Fantastic.
But congratulations.
Great job.
Yep.
And it's a great series. A lot of support in that from Renault, and of course a good race format, half-hour races. So it's not like you safety car comes out and you get 4 racing laps. There's lots of experience, and let's hope that he can move up the ladder, because the next destination, I guess, would be F3. Fingers crossed.
Yep, fingers crossed. And there was a young Australian who was announced there running F3 for next year. Callan Williams has secured a drive for next year in Formula 3.
That's great. So wouldn't it be great if there was 2 in there? But Callan Williams, of course, is great talent. We've seen racing in Australia as well. So a couple of up-and-coming drivers moving up towards, hopefully, a career in Grand Prix racing.
Mark White. Hey, Mark.
Which one?
Yeah, hang on.
How many Mark Whites have we got this week? They're like clones.
No, it's the one we know.
Star Wars movie.
It's the one we know. Should Formula Renault be our open wheeler entry class?
Yeah.
Well, if Renault pay for it, why wouldn't it be? But
there were stories.
hey,
There were stories.
well, it'd be better than what we had.
Yes, and there were stories that Formula Renault was going to be around, but we got Formula 4 instead.
Well,
And how much flesh was on the bone, I don't know.
Well, you look at what New Zealand. Well, I mean, our Formula Ford category, is still fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you look at what New Zealand has done with Formula Toyota,
That's pathetic.
the TRS.
No, it's
and
not. It's
terrific, isn't
fantastic.
it?
And the level of support that Toyota puts into that series, and the track record of drivers coming through it.
I was going to, and the drivers from overseas that actually head to it. That's the big thing about.
That's right.
If you're not aware of that, the Toyota series, they're a Formula 3
Why can't we have
type of chassis, equivalent chassis. They're going to the new one with the what do you call that stupid thing around there?
Halo?
The Halo.
Headphones. They're called headphones.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, look, New Zealand does a lot of things better than us. That's one of them.
talk about great Kiwis. Let's look at this Kiwi. Let's roll the videotape. And I've got audio on this, Phil, so...
Cassidy will come across the line to be crowned Super Formula Champion. Nick Cassidy's done it. He crosses the line ahead of Fukuzumi. They are your top 3, ahead of Sakaguchi. But Cassidy's champion. Nick Cassidy is your Super Formula Champion. Nick Cassidy, you have done it. You are champion.
Nick Cassidy. What a great result. New Zealand's own Nick Cassidy. And he beat the former champion, Fukunsumi.
Sorry?
Fukunsumi. If you're not happy, Fukunsumi.
Okay, all right. You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
We've got some comments. Jack Perkins.
Hello, Jack.
Gary, which is what they call me. Is that the tag on the back of your shirt?
Probably.
I'm taking it back tomorrow, mate.
That's right, yeah. Back to the...
Unless we have a non-drivers holding Christmas party.
Salvation Army.
Oh, it is the tag. And these don't have a tag, but you will be able to buy them online tomorrow. Debris, we don't know where it is. Is the tag still attached to your shirt? It says, thanks. Yes. Ah,
dear
Jesus.
me. Okay, congratulations, Nick Cassidy, on winning that title. Fast Cars, fantastic series.
And Jack Perkins and Benny Small and I think Timmy Blanchard and Christian Limbom all went over to Japan earlier this year, got on the grog and went to a race with him.
With Nick Cassidy?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Fantastic.
Yeah,
They got on the grog. What a shock. In Japan.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been a cheap exercise if I know my Japanese beers.
They had some Asahi. Sorry. Now, let's go GT4 racing in Germany and the Nürburgring.
What could possibly go wrong? That's the Nürburgring. Yes.
Maybe a suspension failure or a tyre cutting down. And
Oh, baby.
A twist and a half with a 3-point landing. Now that's
Wow.
Nick Wustenhagen. Wustenhagen, congratulations, you've turned the German army.
This is just like the United Nations in here, a cornucopia of foreign impressions tonight.
So that's a twist and a half with a pike landing on the pike on the back, and then a double spin and landing on the roof. And Philip,
He's all right.
we actually do know what went on, and let's
What
go
happened?
for the official word.
Official cause?
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked it up.
Official.
Yeah?
That is official.
Consumey.
Yeah. Like fuck you and fuck me.
That's right.
In Austin
For
Powers.
goodness sake. Really? What else happened over the course of the weekend?
No. Let's go back a couple of weeks ago to Japan.
1 week, yes. Well,
1 week
10
to
days.
Japan. And if one bloke couldn't save it,
Yeah.
let's look at another bloke and how he saved it.
This is unbelievable. Wet. Matigi. That's A. Marquez. Not Ann Marquez. That's Alex Marquez doing his best impression of Randy Mamela all those years ago and hanging on.
He ate the handlebars.
He ate the handlebars. He actually saw his own front wheel. He probably saw the inside of his own nostrils as well. But a fantastic performance there. Look at this. I mean, all the weight on. Oh,
Now, if they do
it's
that.
a Dunlop.
They do that in motocross freestyle. They call that a Superman almost.
Do
They
they?
let go and grab the tail of the bike and pull themselves back on. But they're not going in a forward direction really fast.
No, and that's not Superman. That's Superman's little brother. Fantastic.
This is where they deducted points because he actually had to stop to get back on rather than try and...
it was the dismount.
yeah.
Tricky. That's a man putting the X back in Calyx. That was a good run. Kind of gone to sleep Moto 2. Alex Marquez had a shocking weekend at Phillip. No, not shocking. He didn't fall off much. But no, he's back in the points and fighting for the Moto 2 title.
Mark White. Will Jack go with Courtney to Team Sydney?
Dunno. Jack, you going to Team Sydney?
Jack, let us know. We can announce it
Right,
officially
Team Richmond.
online here tonight. We don't know where it is. Bud Hanson
It's
says,
Sydney.
yes, we do. It's on the second floor of the Gold Coast Apartments. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. What else happened?
Victor McLaughlin stand away for Walkinshaw. That's a pretty good question there. What else
That's
we got?
bouncing around, isn't it?
Oh,
What's that
French,
bouncing around?
Michelle McDornan, that's my wife, said the shirt is $29.95 at Lowe's.
Really? How low can you go?
The tag is the debris, said Sandy.
If you buy a Deborah shirt, we'll give you an extra tag.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. I'll tell you what, I won't live this one down.
No, you won't.
Now, there was a big event at Phillip Island
There
on the
was.
weekend, down
There
on
was.
the beach. That's why Phil's dressed so spectacularly. And, well,
Everybody-
what do you say? When,
Everybody was down there.
yeah, everybody. And let's have a look.
Now, I'm not usually
Blue
one,
from Neighbours.
I'm not. I'm not usually one for selfies. Having been around this business for so long, but what can I say? He asked. That's not Valentino Rossi's
Blue from
father.
Neighbours.
That's Giacomo Agostini, 15 times world champion. I don't usually ask for selfies. He
did?
He obliged. Wonderful bloke.
Oh, and how many world championships did he win? 95?
15.
15 world
14 on
championships.
MV, 1 on Yamaha.
And he
Fantastic.
probably still gets looked after by Yamaha for life.
He does. But I believe it was the Grand Prix Corporation that bought him out for Rossi's 400th race.
Jake Adard says, I'm definitely buying that Debris shirt. Well, that's good. They're going to be $85 each. Mark White, XXXXL. No, it's just 3X, mate. I'm too fat.
And
I
it's
can take
pronoun-
it back to Lowe's tomorrow. Can't dress himself.
It's pronounced excellent.
Exactly. Righto, we're enjoying having everyone's comments and everyone online. Now, talking about that, it was Valentino Rossi's 400th Grand Prix.
Yep.
And MotoGP came up with a wonderful tribute online. If you haven't seen it, let's have a look now. What a wonderful tribute. All the highlights
amazing.
of his career, and it was terrific. But now let's go into the Grand Prix, Philip. Here we go. Let's go to the highlights. And this is the Moto 2 race.
Moto 0.
Yep. And
Out of the way.
he gives old matey a bit of a show. I don't know where this is. But anyway, it's a ripper. So a good old hip and shoulder, which the AFL will outlaw now. And Mr. Motorbikey rider here, he's very unhappy fella. Very unhappy fella. So he goes looking for the bag of rice. Gets the helmet. No, I'm not going to throw the helmet. It's got a good paint job on it. The other bloke comes wheeling out of the corner, does a Russell Ingle, and Scafey throws the rice under his front wheel.
I didn't love you a long time. That was a cracker.
And the crowd went wild. They thought that was fantastic.
I particularly like the safety features of that race circuit. The spectators / Armco.
Yeah.
The crash barriers with the knees.
No, but in all seriousness, yeah, let's look at this bit again. Look at that.
Take that. Take that one, mate, series. That's right. That's how we roll. That's how we spring roll around here. And the winner was number 69. Oh,
What do you like
chicken and rice?
Sauce now?
Sorry, we're offending people.
Let's go to the MotoGP highlights.
Yeah, we really will. We need to get
Phil
something
was there,
serious.
so he'll talk us through it.
I was. Maverick was on pole. And who's that leading Maverick? Oh, and Petrucci's off at the first corner. And Quartararo is down. The Doctor is leading. Jack is falling back. Can he win from there? I predict he can't fall. He can't finish on the podium. No, maybe he can. Wait a second. 93 is leading. Is that an Aprilia behind him? It is. But here comes the race in two between Maverick Vinales on the Yamaha and the greatest racing motorcyclist we've ever seen, Marquez, who elbows Crutchlow out of second place at Lukey Heights. Some slow-mo. You think they go a bit quicker. The start of the last lap, Marquez on the Honda takes the lead. It's all or nothing. It's nothing.
Nothing.
For Maverick Vinales. Hands on heads. And checkered flag number 7,000 for Marquez. Kel Crutchlow, brave second. Our man Jack Miller, third place. Tyre management for Jackson. Has Ducati made the right decision for next year? Should they change their mind and put Jack in the factory team?
Ryan Jarak said Indonesia was the other thing.
Was it Indonesia?
Indonesia.
Apologies to our Indonesian friends.
And David Scholderman said, me no Reiki.
Ricey. Yeah.
So great race, great result at Phillip Island there. And,
It's a great weekend. 83,000 fans. Terrific.
Yeah.
Great, lousy weather. Terrible. The weather was up and down. Today, perfect. Thursday at Phillip Island was magnificent last week. And then weather, weekend. Psh. But anyway, it was great to be involved with the Grand Prix Corporation for the week. I really enjoyed it.
Darren Williams has asked us, Philip, if we're going to send some of these shirts to DJR. No, if they've got $150,000 to piss up against the wall, they can pay for their own. Send them if they pay for them.
So far,
Absolutely.
So far, there's one shirt, isn't there?
Yeah, there is just the one shirt. It's
unique
a
at the
very
moment.
limited edition at the
Very
moment, but it
limited.
will be.
But demand is increasing.
And we should say hi to, is it Mark Fenning?
Who?
That was the engineer?
I don't
Fenning?
know.
Mark
Is he?
Fenning? I don't know.
I don't know. What are we going to do now? You know what we should have? A commercial break.
Let's go to a very quick commercial break. Next one.
Three champions who share a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil.
Nice to have you over here in the States.
Thank you.
Come over here running circles with us.
The incredible thing is a different concept on ovals, isn't it?
Some people just can't get it right.
Even at Indy.
Oh, especially at Indy.
Before, he had somewhere to go.
What have they got there? Some grass and then more concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's not good.
Perhaps I should follow you then.
Not a bad idea, Nigel.
Very unpleasant on an oval, I'd think.
Just remember, don't turn right too much on them.
They're on it all the time.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
Why do you go anti-clockwise?
You're in a foreign country, boy.
Long time. Was it 25 years ago? How far? It was longer.
93, 26 years ago. 93? Yeah, 93.
And
was the first ever, Nigel Mansell was the first ever reigning Formula One champion and IndyCar champion at the same time.
Yeah. And, of course, Mario and Nigel became friends for life.
I got to do the I got to do the support races for Channel 9 at the IndyCar Grand Prix on the Gold Coast that year, the first bit of live television I did.
Yeah.
And I haven't learned a thing since. But Alan Jones was there, and he said, "Watch for Nigel when he gets out of this car. He's going to have the limp." And it was quite amusing.
Yeah,
he got out and he was limping.
Yeah, of course he was. He was Nigel, Superman.
Anyway,
a lot of fans though. A lot of fans, Nigel.
Oh yeah, let's go Mexican Grand Prix, Philip. And
absolutely, Mexico City, the highest altitude race. Hit it, Robert.
Now, this is qualifying. Valtteri Bottas, and the camera stopped because...
It got broken.
A sudden stop is normally what hurts most people, and
that's right.
That was there. So that was Bottas. And let's hear from Max Verstappen, who went flying past this. Let's go to the next clip straight away, Rob. Celebrating.
That, Max, is pole position.
Yes, boys, come on. That was unbelievable, guys. The car was so good.
Something about celebrating a tad too early, isn't it, Phil?
Because he was asked at the press conference afterwards, about 15 minutes after that, by a reporter from ESPN. Do you think there's going to be a problem about going purple, fastest sector, while there's a car on the fence and a yellow flag? No. And even if something happens, I still have the second fastest lap. I will be on pole. Wrong, Max. And this was peak Max. Absolute velocity, brilliant driving, dumb thing to say. Shouldn't have said it.
No, should
put back to fourth. And from that point, his weekend was ruined.
Now let's go to the highlights of the Grand Prix. Let's start rolling through a few of these, and then we'll get into the supercar stuff.
So Ferraris once again managed to find themselves in the front row of the grid, and Verstappen makes a good start behind Lewis Hamilton. The red cars try and block out everybody behind. That means Hamilton and Max are going to go through the corner side by side. There will be contact. There will be grass. There will be cars going around the outside. That was Alexander Albon in the other Red Bull that went around the outside, and Bottas found himself back in the pack and being sliced up by the McLarens, and then there were cars going everywhere, and this was Hamilton challenging the Ferraris.
What a great view. Look at that stadium.
It is. But this was one of the talking points of the race, because Max took that position off Bottas down in the infield, cut a tyre, and wasn't able to recover the ground as much as he probably would have liked.
Mexicans gone wild.
Because of Perez.
Yep.
And probably because of that Debris shirt as well. They want to get one as well. I don't know what the Spanish is. Please let us know. McLaren. Look, let's give them credit. They got most of the wheels on that car. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. 4 would be better, and then it was a flurry of pit stops, and this decided the race because Ferrari had to respond to that stop, and they didn't do a very good job.
Right rear.
Yes, and Danny Ricciardo locking up, but you can't say he's not giving it everything at Renault, and managed to get turned around at one point.
No, that was the Hulk.
Sorry, my mistake, because I am playing catch-up with this race. Lewis Hamilton made those hard tyres go 48 laps. I'm not sure how he did that. Not a lot of people really are sure how he did that, and that's why he's going to win a 6th world championship. He needs 4 points in Texas this week. So as long as he doesn't bump into the furniture or get carried away by a twister, he's going to be world champion again.
Adam Hughes has given us a great fact. He said, "Did you know, due to such thin air in Mexico, they run..." excuse me, higher downforce than Monaco, but actually have less downforce than Monza.
They do, because you know what they have at Monaco? Fat air. Because it's next to the ocean.
Yes.
It's, is it...
In Mexico City, the altitude
meters?
is... altitude.
The altitude.
Now,
that's a Hispanic word.
Now, I spent a week in Mexico, 10 days in Mexico, and I didn't get out of the pool too often, only when I needed to, and drank... mango margaritas for 10 days straight. Fabulous time. Great place to go for a party. And but they really know how to do it. Have a look at the podium presentation. Let's roll that tape.
Lewis ascending.
Look at that. How cool is that? They've lifted the car up from the ground, Big screen behind, smoke, debris, it's all going off. Debris.
And then they had the Mexican Stig on the podium taking selfies. What a dork.
Talk about dorks on the podium. Now, before we get to that, let's go to Italy.
Okay.
For Formula 4. Now, we'll probably cut this one a bit shorter too, Robbie, but in the wet, the Formula 4. Now, they used to have these in Australia. They don't anymore.
No.
There's a few more cars over there in Italy. And look, up.
In fact, there's so many Formula 4 cars in Italy, sometimes they have to stack them.
Force India and Ferrari. It didn't look too good there.
Formula 4's India. Does you see what I did there?
Yes.
And the Shell V-Power cars on top. Well, yeah. Okay.
Well,
add comment here.
Adam Hughes, highest F1 track in Mexico. Yes.
Used to be Kyalami.
Oh, did it?
For altitude, yeah.
Not sure of the name of it, but cost a lot of works. The Thailand Shopping Centre, Indonesia. I'm trying to get. If you got comments, please send them through. We love
Thailand Shopping Centre in Indonesia. You know, Asia's not one big place, right?
Isn't it?
It's lots of different countries.
Did the team engineer get the right surfboard? We'll talk about blokes pissing people.
Yes, but
just enjoying themselves on the podium.
Did they get the right surfboard? Yes. Do they know where it is? No.
Now, Larry Perkins has a comment about that Italian Formula 4 crash.
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked it up.
Actually, a few of them did. And
one of these days
they were very cold tyres because they were wet, Phil. Are you having another frothy?
I'm thirsty.
It's
light beer, folks. It's light beer. It really is.
Right,
Vodafone Gold Coast 600 was on the weekend, wasn't it, Gerald?
Yes.
Were you there?
Yeah, well, clearly.
In spirit. We were both there.
Clearly I was. And
ding, 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 ding.
Kept the
only
the
I had
off.
my banjo.
No, didn't make it, Philip. Didn't make it. And because I was at Caveat in Victoria.
Of course you were.
But, gee, what a lot going on up there. And the fallout of the Bathurst decision. A lot going on with the Bathurst decision about the Debris. Ironically, I actually got to spend Saturday with one of the three stewards on the panel.
Is that right?
Yes.
And what can you tell us?
I said, I think you got it wrong.
And what did he say?
Well, he might have been taken back a bit.
Really?
But he thought the penalty was huge. And,
really?
We had a very good conversation about it.
Okay.
And, you listen exactly to what he said, and you can understand some of the comments, but considering $150,000 fine, it was $250, but $100 suspended, so it's $150,000 out of the pocket. Was big. It's not in the scheme of things, and considering that they dismissed all of the evidence and basically said no, we don't believe what you're saying, but then assumed because they could see no evidence of being done to help the car 17. That's why they came to the decision. I said, well, everyone else in pit lane could see it, and perhaps it should have been called. That's it. They made a decision, and there's a dark, dark day. Cloud hangs over that Bathurst, I think, forever, and we've agreed. I thought they should have been disqualified. You didn't agree with that, but you said you thought the penalty should have been far heavier.
I thought there should have been a penalty. Perhaps under a different part of the regulations, and I'm also surprised there wasn't a further investigation of the speed of the cars going back to the pits. But anyway, it's done now.
It's done.
What we do know is that CAMS is going to have an investigation, a review of procedures involving things like safety cars and team orders particularly in endurance races. So that's something that's come out of it. So clearly, not everybody's 100% satisfied with where we sit at the moment.
Now, and the other thing that we should say is what went on brought out the worst in people online, who are people that cannot have a sensible conversation, accept fact, accept a point of view. Even we were called dickheads and arseholes, so I copped some shocking emails about us. We had stuff written online. We know that Fabian had stuff said about him. But for the dickheads and arseholes out there that get online, the faceless, gutless turds, and a couple of you said, you've got a shit show, and fuck off, because, you're not welcome. We want to have conversations. We don't want to agree all of the time with people.
We don't even agree.
We don't agree.
On a lot of things.
Yeah, but for the gutless turds, up yours, don't even bother coming here. And for the people saying we're biased, let me tell you, in the team owners meeting at the Gold Coast last weekend, prior to the event, a team owner of a Ford team said the decision didn't go far enough, and he called for DJR Team Penske to be thrown out of the Pertec Endurance Cup Series.
Really? Wow.
So
wow.
Don't go saying, you used to be the Holden PR bloke, and Phil, you've copped the junkets off everyone and all of that sort of stuff.
No, I haven't. Hang on, who have I copped junkets off? Well, in that case...
Porsche.
Porsche? Yes. Michelin. Toyota. Holden and Ford? No.
No.
Nissan?
No.
No, they've loaned me a car occasionally. So's Holden, so's Ford.
Jesus. At least you got a car loan, do you? Anyway, so...
We've covered this last
But that's
time.
The end of it.
We're not invested in this in that way.
And the decision's made, but don't... You get on our page and say we're a bunch of assholes and that. F off. We're not interested.
Well, we might
go
be,
away. This is a good place. We want to have fun. I've got great mates that are great Ford fans. They think I'm a Holden bloke. I always give I did like a good argument, but I always give the opposite point of view.
No. You didn't come in here for an argument.
No. But,
I wasn't expecting that.
Those people aren't welcome. And to go out there and criticise. And what about the fuckwit that come out and said, Scott McLaughlin online, did you crash in qualifying because you were so... you wanted to make up for Bathurst because you were... What a dickhead.
Hang on. On purpose?
Yes.
He roofed a car into the concrete on purpose to gain sympathy. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, and I said, fuckwit. Not Scott, the bloke. So, Ty Friel, one of the guys from Red Bull. Hey, Ty. Good to see you, mate, online. Can you believe that? Yes, yeah. He tweeted it, and
he banged up a $650,000 race car to get sympathy. Oh boy! I'm saying there's nothing I can say. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean, really dickheads. Let's go anyway. Let's go to the Gold Coast.
Let's go to the Gold Coast,
and let's have a look at Saturday's top 10 shootout, and talk about sudden stops. That was a sudden one.
Now, hang on a second. Is there anyone suggesting that Chaz did that deliberately to get sympathy? No, he just tagged the inside. Yeah, so unfortunately the car's out of the out for the weekend. The suspension's pushed back. And Chaz and Moff, the spectators.
The car's buggered. The team said it's a write-off. It said it's pushed the frame rails back through the firewall, broken the engine mounts off. And Chaz, no doubt it would have caused a lot of damage through the chassis as well.
Chaz is a huge talent, but geez, having a shocking run, isn't he?
There's a great meme floating around, Philip, of Tim Edwards and James Moffat sort of looking at the screen, and then there's one of Ryan Walkinshaw going, it's a terrific meme. It is. It's a beauty. Anyway, apparently he signed. And I think we said that. I think we said that quite a while ago.
Yeah, nothing's been said officially, but I think we can pretty much take it as read. He signed.
Let's go to race 26 highlights.
Agreed or something. He's definitely going there.
And here we go. They blasted off Scotty McLaughlin off pole on Saturday, but a great start by Craig Lowndes, Scott McLaughlin and Alex Bremer. Let's not forget the co-driver. Fabulous start by Craig Lowndes. Put the head down, bum up, and really hooked in. The beautiful Gold Coast circuit, it's magnificent. The pictures are terrific. Here's Jack Perkins giving Tony Delberdurdo a bit of a serve. Great driver change and pit stop for Craig and Jamie Whincup. They took the win in the 888 ahead of the 97 of Garth Tander and Shane Van Gisbergen. Let's keep it rolling, if we can, please, Rob. Here's an accident which took place. James Courtney and Andre Heimgartner. Now, the interesting one is that Courtney got either a time penalty or a drive-through. I think it was a time penalty at the end of the race. But you see that they came around the hairpin corner. And Courtney was actually on the inside. He gave Heimgartner a bit of a nudge. Then he went to the outside and was, in fact, overlapping. And the Nissan came across and got turned into the wall. And somehow, maybe I missed something there, but he's gone from the inside to the outside.
Yeah.
Little nudge, but then gone around the outside, been closed in and got a drive-through.
Yeah, what's James supposed to do in that circumstance if there's an overlap? And if the overlap's 2 or 3 inches or 2 or 3 feet, if there's contact, you're still going to get the car in front turned around. So I'm not exactly sure about that one. Is James supposed to lift in an acceleration zone and then get T-boned at the back? I don't know. I didn't see that at the time. It does seem like a bit of a harsh penalty. It seems like one of those 50-50 ones to me. We might have something to say about that later.
50-50. I'd go 0-100.
What, you're saying it's Heimgartner's fault?
Oh, absolutely. I thought so.
Okay, all right. Well,
people might say I'm biased, and
no,
I'm a fan of Andre. I think he's terrific talent, and he's had a great year, and he's down on his luck in the Enduros so far, and was having terrific Bathurst. Unfortunately, that ended, but I think in that situation, I thought he was. He came out and actually hooked into James, and then James hooked back into Andre and said, "What's he ever won?" It was a bit of a slangy match, so that was amusing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's probably the best argument. I'd like to know whether they have a mark on the top of the steering wheel. I'd like to see the in-car stuff to see whose wheel was straight. If Andre was turning to the right, it's a bit hard to defend.
Now let's go into Sunday morning qualifying, and this was the big news coming out of the event, and there it is. Scott McLaughlin, the Bathurst winning Mustang.
Whiz.
Debris.
Well, actually, yeah.
We know where it is.
That's right. It's in apartment 23H.
Debris. And he copped a bit of a belt on the noggin, Scotty did. Great work by Shane Van Gisbergen. Not because Scotty's a Kiwi or whatever, but, was in a position where he could see the flags out, saw the accident, positioning, got out of his car, and did a wonderful thing and went and rushed to the aid of his fellow driver and should be congratulated.
He should be.
Scotty
in fact, I was drinking to him just then. That's what I was caught on camera.
Scotty was admitted to hospital by Dr. Carl Lee.
Yes.
And as a part of that, he had MRIs just to check and make sure everything's okay, because he did have an interview with Murph in pit lane and did slur his words a little bit, so Dr. Carr went, hey, off you go.
Yep.
Now, let's have a look at another angle. This is a different one. It came online last night. Vision's not that great. Here we go. Oofty.
No warning.
Just clip that inside wall, Phil.
Yes. And look, and this throws... dampens down any suggestion that he did this on purpose. It would be very easy not to pass a concussion protocol, and then you might be out for the next round, and then your championship might be going south. So look, let's just dismiss that completely. That was a very unfortunate thing. He doesn't make mistakes very often, but gee, that was a big one.
If we go to...
a small one with big consequences.
We're showing that again. It's a... I'm not going to say a ripper, but it's good view. And
yeah, and it shows you just what commitment it takes to go fast at this track. That's, 5 centimetres offline?
Oh, well.
Tags the wall and bang, no steering, and he's in the wall.
I think we've got a driving expert's opinion on what actually went wrong.
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked it up.
Oh, we don't know how hot his tyres were.
Well, he did. He had set the quickest lap at that particular point in time, but red flag brought it on. He lost that lap.
Well, it didn't really matter because the car was toast.
Now, let's go to the next one. Debris. We do know where it is.
Yes,
and we pinched that off the Speed Cafe website. Thank you, Speed Cafe, for all of your news
support.
And there's I don't know, 10, 15, whatever. Yeah, probably 10 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand.
No, it's
grand,
allegedly,
8 grand.
reportedly landed in somebody's balcony.
No, it didn't reportedly. Did.
Did really?
Yep, did.
Okay. What's the protocol there? Excuse me. Hello, I'll wait for Roger Penske. Can I have my damper back, please?
Was it a Penske shock?
Is it? Well, no, I don't know. Do Penske have shocks?
What?
For supercars? Is there a homologated Penske shock?
I think so.
There's an Olin's. What's the protocol there? Is possession 9/10 of the law? No, sorry, it landed in my veranda. It's on the barbecue. Merle thought it was his.
Michael Grant said DJR said it was a rock.
No.
They hit a rock. Well, obviously concrete is a bit of a rock.
Actually, am I right? Was Edsel Ford there? Did someone say Edsel Ford was there?
Yeah, the second.
Was
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Okay. All right, because I wasn't watching because I had motorbikes in my eyes all weekend. But, yeah, there was a Ford there. Wow.
Well, there's a few of them. There was 6 of them on track as well. But yes, no, Edsel Ford the second. Used to be the head of marketing in Australia.
Yeah, I know.
And was the guy who, of course, promised to match dollar for dollar the Australian public's contribution.
Absolutely. And if that hadn't happened, who's to say that Dick Johnson wouldn't have raced a Commodore in the 80s? Might have.
Well, he raced a Tirana and an FJ Holden
He raced
first
for the
before he
Holden-
raced Fords.
He raced for the Holden dealer team at one point.
Yes.
If you're really smart, get on the Facebook. Tell me where it was.
How's it go? Corey Horder said, "How's it go with Ryan's picture in that meme again?" Scott Hallinan just joined in. Hello, Scotty. What's your view on Stanaway? Hit the rewind button, mate. We
Watch it overnight,
mentioned it
several
early in the
times.
show. Bet our marshals shat themselves, says Michael Grant. I bet they did too.
Yeah, marshals tend to be fairly stern stuff, though. That's why I did it for 1 year.
David Jones, DJR team Penske couldn't write the cheque fast enough with Bathurst. You got that right, 150k.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
I think it would have been a bank transfer.
Yeah, well, actually, probably just stick it on the credit card. Bruce Donald, yep, Edsel B. Ford, the second was there. Great piece that Crompo did with him and Dick. Of course, Crompo did because he does stuff with Ford. Those the one thing I think that the problem with watching supercars on television and a lot of those, there's too many cross deals going on. You need.
Hang on, we haven't got any, and we're supposed to be one-eyed.
Exactly, and I think the sport needs to have commentators that actually have an opinion without being influenced. And I'm not saying Neil is or Mark, but it comes a point in time where you've got to say we need to have independence of commentary. Or declared interests.
Yeah. The point I would make there is a difference between a conflict of interest and a perceived conflict of interest. And if you're going to accuse people of having conflict of interest, I would say, okay, show me where they were. Give me an example of what they said that wasn't fair.
No. But when people sit on the fence too much, I'm not trying to be nasty about it or whatever. But there is. There is deals in the background, and I think sometimes it can have an influence on what people say because they don't want to upset their apple carts.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
and that's the Age newspaper writes the journalist travelled here with such and such or whatever, and I think they need to be declared.
Okay, let's settle this once and for all. If anyone's going to accuse us of having bias in supercars, I'd like to say this down the barrel of the camera. Rob, thank you very much. Ford, if you want to loan me a Mustang for a week, that'd be great. Holden, if you want to loan me a Commodore ZB for a week, that'd be great too.
And I did say, I'm now looking after Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
And Richie Crampton.
Yeah.
Who's a mate of mine.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing. Craig Lowndes, I agree, Scafie.
What?
Yeah.
Craig
David
Lowndes is
Driscoll.
on?
He's a Ford fan, David Driscoll. Adam Hughes, spot on. Adam Hughes says Fox 888.
No, I don't detect any bias between Fox and 888.
Bring back Darryl Waltrip, says Mickey Wanders.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. Really? A lovely bloke. Lovely bloke. You knew this much about Super V8s.
Let's go to the race 27 highlights on Sunday. So here we go. It was the Giz off the front row, or Garth Tander off the front row with Craig Lowndes behind him. A little bit of going on there in the first corner.
Slade?
That was Slady involved there,
and then a bit of a
got through. James Courtney had the door coming open on the appliances online. Bit of take there with Rouleau, but it was Shane van Gisbergen and Garth Tander taking the win ahead of Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup. Huge burnout there for SVG.
Ripping drive, by the way, by DR and Luke in the nine.
Finished third.
Yep, to get up to third. Fantastic.
Now, the driving talent in Triple Eight, you have 3 of the top 4 winning drivers of all time in Australian touring car racing.
Yeah.
And Shane van Gisbergen's now won 35 races.
Yep.
So he's starting to climb up there on the list, but he's also, I think, the 5th or 6th most winning Holden driver of all time already.
Fantastic.
In what, 5 years?
And we talked about this in the build-up to Bathurst and post-Bathurst about the driving squad. But one thing we probably didn't talk about a little bit at all, or maybe we should have, is if the quality of those 4 guys was ever going to be felt at one of the circuits more than the other 2 in the Pertec Endurance Cup, it was going to be the Gold Coast, because they just don't make mistakes there. They're all good around those streets. And what about Lowndes getting out of the car after his stint on Saturday and walking around and looking up at the crowd and putting the thumbs up? And I got no doubt he went, "Oh, there's Kevin from Townsville." He was just, to watch him lead that race was just like old times. It was like watching, and Lowndes he would probably be top 5 in the series if he was driving full time.
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic.
We haven't got any vision of the stadium super trucks, but they made their return.
Jumpy trucks.
And
big ticket item.
Yeah, the crowd go wild. They love them.
That's why they get paid to go there.
Yep. Now, the podium celebrations. Now, how's the new trick? Let's have a look at it. This is pretty cool.
Boom, baby!
Now, what's funny about this is we go this. How's old matey in the green shirt? Old matey in the green shirt, Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, came out to present the team's surfboard trophy. Missed Chippy, took the surfboard, stood up on the podium between Shane and Garth, and then they took the trophy off him, and he just stood there. And I don't know where Gromit was, but Wallace...
he was off getting some Wensleydale.
Wallace looked very happy.
Fantastic.
And I
got to
say,
he is. It was the second best.
That's Wallace, isn't it?
It was the second best podium performance of the weekend. The best has to go in MotoGP. Giacomo Agostini, 15-time world champion, walks out with the winner's trophy, shakes hands with Marquez, and keeps the trophy himself. And Marquez is going, "Give me the trophy." It's fantastic. But that was great.
And third place goes to the Mexican Stig.
Oh, the Stig.
Actually, I heard from the Stig the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was he in Mexico?
No, he was in America.
Right.
It was last time I spoke to him, he was just finishing off the driving for Ford versus Ferrari. So,
is that right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't Matt Damon.
No, Matt Damon didn't do it. Ben Collins did. One of the drivers in there, and I think John Capps, Nitro Funny Car Racer, might have been one of the drivers too. I'm not
really.
He does a lot of stunt driving.
Obviously, there were no left or right hand turns.
Who has driven for Peter and Helen Russo in the past as well in their funny car.
Right.
But yes, you're right. Doesn't it?
Speaking of DR,
how excited was David Reynolds?
To be honest, that is a terrible voice. Shut up! Don't laugh at me. I'm knackered.
It's like a sock puppet.
Don't laugh at me.
Seriously hilarious guy.
Oh, Jesus. Scott,
I'm sorry. No, sorry. I can't say that. I can't say that. Okay, I can't say that I like David Reynolds, because that would be being a one-eyed biased goose.
Bruce Donald has come on board and said the stadium trucks worry me that one will end up in the crowd at the Gold Coast.
Just a damper.
No, it's just a damper. Wayne Nugent said about the podium. Said about the podium presentation that Richie Cunningham was let himself go. But
yes, actually, yeah.
And David Scholderman, yes, hello to Levi and Chile.
Yeah.
On the podium.
Oh, they must be teenagers now. They're at the age now going, no, don't say hello to us, Dad.
Yeah. David Driscoll, Superstar Stadium. I keep calling them Super Trucks. Stadium Trucks.
Jumpy trucks.
At 8 of Supercars events next year, which is good.
Oh,
I think
good.
they're great. Let's go NASCAR racing. And I found this clip the other day, and I think it's a terrific one. The late Rob Moroso, who was a rising star in NASCAR.
It makes a funny little tune, and it's helping me out. I try not to be too superstitious about anything, but I'm gonna keep blowing this horn until it stops working, you know. Be my
Let's
gift.
hear it.
I only play it before the race.
Only before the race?
I'm not gonna.
I'll give it a shot. Just blow into it?
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh, man!
Oh, what a jolly joke that was. Officer, it's talcum powder. Honest.
Honest, yes. Debris. That's all blown all over his face. Russell Whittaker, bring the Camaros out to compete on the 11-player field. Yank against Yank.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And especially the way the things
Saw
are.
one today.
Now, NASCAR racing, Kentucky last week, we don't have any vision of this, but Toyota's Denny Hamlin won in Kentucky with the race going into 2 overtime periods.
Yep.
Toyota's a 1-2-3 in the championship at the moment, and let's roll Martinsville, which happened on the weekend. Martin Truex Jr. absolutely dominated the FedEx number 11 car. He won both the stages. Kyle Busch had some problems there, the 18 M&M's, whatever candy car it is this time. A little bit of biff and barge. There was Hamlin and Joey Logano. Logano cracked the sads about that, and we'll have a look at that shortly. Team Penske driver. But it was Martin Truex Jr., who absolutely dominated. Won both. I said earlier, Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex Jr. won everything. Won both the stages. James Small, again, the engineer. He's kicking ass over there in NASCAR. And look at Truex. He's on top in the points. Hamlin is second, and Kyle Busch is third with Logano in fourth. Now, we saw the Logano and Denny Hamlin deal. Let's go and have a look at what went on after the race. And the two got together. Logano wasn't happy with Hamlin. He thinks he got squeezed. As he's going off, gives him the tap. Hamlin goes, stuff you, mate. Don't do that. Look at this. The Shell Penske guy comes from behind, rips him out, throws him on the ground, and that guy is now suspended. Dave Nichols Jr. of Team Penske was suspended for the next event by NASCAR officials for laying his hands on another driver. Some journalists were calling for a third-man-in rule and to suspend him for the rest of the season.
Wow. Martinsville. I've got a question. You'll have to excuse me. My geography in that part of America is not great. Martinsville, judging by pushing the guy and then walking away, is that in Texas? Is that near Austin?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just wondering.
No.
Let's go drag racing.
No, it wasn't.
Drag racing.
No, we're not going to go drag racing. We're going to have a break. Let's go to the commercial break.
They hate to be late. Traffic makes them mad. And waiting makes them furious. Sound familiar? Then drive through McDonald's for breakfast. It's fresh, hot, delicious, and served at top speed so you can get back in the race.
Mess with me.
It's kind of drag racing.
Well, it was a bit of NASCAR as well.
Gerald, what's an Oldsmobile?
They're the cars that your father drive.
Oh, really?
Or used to drive.
My dad never drove one of those. He had an Austin 7, I think, at one point.
What? Peter Brock's first car?
No.
That was an Austin 7?
He drove an Austin way back in the day.
Phil's dad would have been 100 and what? 23 this year.
No, you can't put it. You can't say it like that. My dad was born 123 years ago.
Right. Okay.
You can't say it like that. He's been gone for a long time. Now can we go drag racing?
We can. Peter Harker's having a bit of a laugh online. I'm not sure what Peter Harker's laughing about.
It must have been that commercial.
Something about Texas.
That was an Oldsmobile commercial.
Possibly. The blind pig. And that wasn't me, I can assure you. Someone else. Let's talk about Texas, Philip. Here we go to the final round of the Full Nationals at the Texas Motorplex.
See, told you.
The first super track, and Jerry Savoy won Pro Stock Motorcycle over Eddie Craywick on the Harley. Then Greg Anderson, Jeg Coughlin Jr. in the Jegs car, a little bit out of squirrely off the line, and just 1,000th in the performances and 4,000ths on the start line, 5,000ths total at the end. Matt Hagan got the whole shot start over Bob Tasker, the third, and took the win, a 3.80 time at 327 mile an hour. And in top fuel, what about this? Billy Torrance slept on the line. The rookie, Jordan Vandergriff, had him on toast by 2.5 tenths. Unfortunately, something went wrong with Vandergriff's car. Billy Torrance said, just wait there, let me show you this. So that's Torrance's third win of the year. Steve, his son, has won 8 or 9 times.
What are you looking at me for? I don't know.
So there's 2 events to go.
Yeah.
One is next week this weekend coming in Las Vegas. Not
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Will he show up this time?
Who?
Whoever's going to Vegas.
Alex Premer? He'll probably still be here, wouldn't he?
He probably would be.
And it's before the PRI show.
We should invite him for dinner.
Now, for the final 2 races of the year, let's have a look at the images if we can. Aussie Richie Crampton and current funny car champion J.R. Todd. Let's roll those, please, Robbie.
Right.
Don't have them? Did I stuff up?
We fell over.
Okay, sorry. They got new livery for DHL. Looks bloody good too. So
look it up online.
Looking forward to catching up with Richie and JR in 2 weeks' time. After our next show, I'm heading over for the finals at Pomona. Yeah.
How much goddamn money have you got?
No, frequent flyer miles, mate. Like I had 1.5 million points.
Okay.
I'm slowly whittling them down.
Right.
Please tell us the Texas story, said Mark White.
No.
One day, you're a bit late. I told you, if you want to ask it, ask it. Or if you want to Google.
No.
Martinsville, Virginia, says Thomas Jarrett. That's where the NASCAR race was.
No, I'm sure it's in Austin, Texas.
What else have we got, Philip?
There is a couple of things I'd like to mention.
Oh, yeah?
What?
No,
Not on the list?
What a great show we've had so far.
I know, it's fine pass, hasn't it? Robbie. No, my camera. There you go. New World Rally Champion. His name is Oit Tanak. Of course, from now on, he'll be known as Sebastian Tanak. The unusual part is he doesn't have a contract for next year.
No way.
So, So, congratulations, Oit, on taking the title for Toyota, and good luck with Hyundai. It's probably going to be announced by the end of the week. Fantastic. Also, well done to everybody in Moto 2 and Moto 3. Will there be a sting in the tail for the silly season in Moto 2? Will Remy Gardner be on the move? This is what I heard down at Phillip Island. Several people suggested that he was going to be leaving that team. There's a vacancy at Red Bull. There'll be a Cadillac next year, possibly with his name on it. It'd be good to see 87 on a Red Bull bike, because that team I don't think is good enough, but he did a fantastic job on the weekend. That's all I got.
Wonderful. Let's hope he does have a good ride for next year, young Remy. And the 30th celebrations of Wayne's
he was everywhere.
victory.
He was everywhere. He was all over the place. It was a fantastic welcome home for him. Iconic. Who knows what would have happened in motorcycle racing, or even if we'd have the Phillip Island circuit in the condition it's in today, if what happened in '89 hadn't happened. But fantastic. And the Legends Parade, because they had to change qualifying to Sunday morning, the Riders Parade became the Legends Parade. So Wayne went out, Freddie Spencer was there, Alex Creville was there, Giacomo Agostini was there. There were so many stars, so many world champions, Troy Bayliss going around in open-top BMWs. It was just Fantastic. The fans had a lot of fun at Phillip Island, apart from the weather.
Apart from the weather.
Racing was
down
great.
at the beach.
And at the press conference, if Jorge Martin had a gun, I would have been dead for daring to suggest that he's running tail gun after Brad Binder in Moto2 for the rest of the season. But there's more racing this weekend in Malaysia. 3 Grand Prix in 3 weeks. I'm exhausted.
Well, Officer Beathard said if I had had a gun in Texas,
well, anyway,
I could have used it in self-defence.
What time's the next
How
show?
good, Victor McLaughlin, how good would it be to see Officer Beathard, his name was, can you believe it? How good would it be to see supercar drivers resolve post-race issues like Hamlin and Logano?
Oh, that's a bit one-eyed.
I reckon it'd be fantastic.
Who do you reckon would be a scrapper? Who do you reckon would be in a fight like that? Do you go for the long-rangey blokes with the long-range punch, the sort of bit like that, or do you go for the little ones who get underneath and just go chop, chop, chop? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. James Courtney, I think it.
Really?
Yeah,
so?
well, he actually does. He does a bit of boxing in his training. He's very fit.
He's a bit purdy though for fighting, isn't he? He's a bit too pretty.
Yeah, he is, but that's probably the thing. Time attack coverage from Sydney Motorsport Park. David Driscoll. Yeah, good. Bud Hansen reckons SVG might be handy with his
Dukes.
Yeah, maybe. David Shoulderman says Tander.
No.
Sorry,
I don't think so. I reckon. I'm not saying this because he gets the guts out and shows the six-pack, whenever necessary. I reckon a bit of Dale Wood. I reckon he'd be a scrapper.
Can't drink though.
No,
I can tell you.
Well,
he cannot drink,
and that's why there are several other people. One drives for an Albury team who apparently has not a drinking problem. No, I'm not saying that. It's just when he gets on the tips, all he wants to do is go to sleep.
Oh yeah, well,
who else can we blaspheme?
I've got a couple of ripper photos of Dale Wood at drivers' parties, and I tell you what, he didn't look too good. Anyway,
no, but I reckon in a scrap, I reckon he's the bloke you want to have around.
Probably, and he's a lot of fun.
I rate
the
guy very high. And congratulations to all the winners in the Carrera Cup Series, by the way. They had their big knees up.
Worst fight since Ambrose and Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit of, you said, you are well. And I like the line from Murph when he said to me about an hour later that I might have been suggesting that he should go to America right away.
Brett Barkley reckons that Tander Garth would be too busy programming your computer. SVG for sure. Have you guys heard anything more about GRM and Stanaway? Yes, we have. We hear there's more behind the scenes. So, but how would you know? We feel sorry for Richie. What else? I think that's about it, Phil. Ambrose and Murph, I would have paid to watch that. Yeah, it just wouldn't happen. They just pointing at each other.
Yeah, it would have been a fair bit of chat.
Caruso, John Geisler says, actually, little Robbo is quite a fit little. He and Holdsworth would be nuggety little fighters.
I was about to say Lee's got some.
They'd be lightweights, wouldn't they?
He's got the gun show, but yeah,
lightweights. Not lightweight as in no good. Lightweights as in. They're little nuggety fighters. Anyway.
And one of these days we'll do an episode about
Mark White, Scaife versus Gerald.
No.
That's been run and done and won. Sorry.
No.
Oh, Jesus. No, stop bringing it up, will you?
Can we go now?
Yeah, we can. Let's say thank you, everyone, for joining us. We've really enjoyed having your company. And thank you for joining us over the last couple of weeks with that Bathurst stuff. If you want, send us comments. Have a difference of opinion. We don't. If you don't like the show, don't watch us. Don't write on our page because we're only going to ban you and piss you off anyway. But come and have some fun. Grab a beer, sit down.
What's the
talk
theme?
Motor racing.
What's the theme for the next one? Are we going retro? Are we going retro for the retro round?
Well,
that's most of my wardrobe.
It's post Sandown, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's post Sandown. So let's be
13th of November, is it?
Let's be post retro.
Post retro.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know.
What comes after retro? Modern day, I suppose, isn't it?
Present.
Yeah. We'll be in the present. So
no, we won't.
Oh shit! I didn't update the time. What's the date? So it'll be the 13th. It'll be the 13th of November.
Is it Halloween yet?
8:30 p.m. Oh, we could do a Halloween show.
No, it's Halloween now. Is it Halloween now?
8:30, 13th of November. We look forward to your company. If you see us at Sandown,
come and say hello. Don't sue us.
Come and say hi and To that Japanese former champion of Super Formula, Fukinsumi, if you don't like what I say. Good night, everyone. And Phil, let's go surfing.
I'll be the guy in the hat.